Although his popular music career will be cut short, Jimi Hendrix remains an iconic guitarist and rock and roll legend in American history. Celebrated for his sense of style and charisma, his impact on destroying racial stereotypes and fusing a variety of musical genres has never been fully appreciated. Jimi Hendrix, born as John Lee Allen Hendrix, was born in Seattle, Washington. He was a guitarist, singer, and songwriter. Jimi Hendrix did many things, including playing rock music. Rock music was originated by African American music, jazz, blues, and gospel in the 1940s. However, it was dominated by white consumers and producers in the 1950s in an attempt to market cultural products, meaning most rock musicians were white. Another thing is that Jimi Hendrix was left-handed, meaning Jimi Hendrix couldn't play the guitar normally, resulting in him finding different yet odd ways to play, examples such as playing it behind his back, playing it with his tongue, playing it with his teeth, wrapping his thumb around the strings, playing it on the floor, and flipping it upside down so it could suit his left hand. Jimi Hendrix fits the Frontiers theme because he played differently. Most people play normally, using their right hand, or holding a guitar near the torso. But since Jimi Hendrix was left-handed, he found other ways to play the guitar. Using it differently made him able to hold the guitar differently. Most of his ways he played was using it upside down, flipping the guitar over so he could play it, and playing it on the floor. Jimi Hendrix's way of combining fuzz and feedback, which most people don't like, to create a whole new sound was impressive, even more than he didn't know how to read music and still got popular in only 4 years. He innovated the guitar and the amplifier to be able to play new or old music in new or old ways. One types of evidence that I use is to find photos of his guitar and find a video interview, in which the video interview was talking about how musicians are able to forget all about the talent they have and let the money get in their way. Being able to let the fame and compliments get to you and make you think that you don't have to try. This is important because this could show what Jimi Hendrix thinks about new players, what they could fall for, and how they could be successful. It shows that onstage Jimi Hendrix and offstage Jimi Hendrix are quite different. While onstage Jimi Hendrix is loud and excited, but offstage Jimi Hendrix is quiet and modest, trying to help others and being able to give truthful advice about being able to stay modest. This helps my thesis by showing that unlike most guitar players in that time, they might give different advice. They would give advice to the wrong path. Jimi Hendrix gives truthful advice about being able to stay true to yourself and not to get money in the way of your passion. What you love and care for. In this case, that would be music, and more specifically, rock and roll music, or get in the way of your talent. People getting in the way of your talent can mean that people might offer you money to be able to get big, but what they are really doing is that they could just be trying to hide your talent from the world. The photo of the guitar is evidence because by seeing his guitar, we could see what the base of it was, meaning that we'd be able to see what his guitar looked like before any adjustments or anything he did to make it suitable for his left hand. By seeing the picture, we could be able to compare it to when he was playing this guitar to see what he did to make new sound combinations, so we could be able to imitate it and learn his thought process. By seeing his guitar, we could see if there's any damage or if Jimi Hendrix kept it care for. We could see if there's anything out of the ordinary, like if he switched a string or adjusted something else. The sources I used are videos, to see how Jimi Hendrix played and compare the way he played against other rock musicians. And I saw that he would usually switch hands or just use one hand to make it more comfortable for his left hand. I also looked at pictures of his guitar to see if it was a specially made left-handed guitar or if it was a regular guitar. And I also used articles to see what unique things that he could do. A video can help prove my thesis by showing what chords/notes he played, what combinations he used to make new sounds, to make new types of feedback, or be able to compare it to other rock musicians. Since he was able to explore his guitar, he was able to use different finger placement, meaning that if he didn't explore with this, then he wouldn't be able to make creative pieces of music. Pictures of his guitar could help prove my thesis by showing me where his fingers would usually go or where they would move. It could also show me the strings and if they were tuned or altered in a unique way to make different sounds. And by using a specific site, I could see how much it was worth for or bought for, which shows how important it is not just in monetary value, but also how important it was to the development of rock music. Can help prove my thesis by showing other things that Jimi Hendrix did. He did not only play one type of music, he played many different types of rock. He was also able to play British rock and psychedelic rock music, along with being able to play jazz and soul music. Jimi Hendrix being able to play all of this shows that he was unique, that he was creative and able to play many different types of music. The significance of Jimi Hendrix was huge. He explored the many possibilities of the electric guitar and developed new styles and tactics, making rock music be able to be more unique and making it able to not just be played one way. Hendrix was unable to read music. He said that he used the emotions of the strings to feel and create his music. Although there were others who couldn't read music, everyone had different tactics, making Jimi Hendrix's way feel more special. Another thing is that Jimi Hendrix defied racial stereotypes. Many rock musicians of his time were white. Due to the fact that rock music was inspired and created by African Americans, Americans wanted to commercialize it to others, making most rock musicians of his time white. But Jimi Hendrix wanted rock music to be played by everyone, not just Americans, so he played his music and defied racial stereotypes, making rock music and other types of music be available to everyone. Jimi Hendrix's death was devastating. Jimi Hendrix was recognized and put into the spotlight for only 4 years. His death had a long-term effect on rock and roll music. A site I used for evidence was the site JimiHendrix.com, run by Jimi Hendrix's sister, Jimi Hendrix. This site can give information from the point of view from the family and from a standard point of view of the user. This site gave me details that only the family would be able to know, but also details as when Jimi Hendrix had gotten his first real guitar, and others. This site told me what creative rock musicians inspired Jimi Hendrix, and what revolutionary things Jimi Hendrix did, and things he did that could be seen as bad in the present time. Another site I used to investigate what Jimi Hendrix did is 9 News. They had made an article about what Jimi Hendrix did. The site had told me that Jimi Hendrix had a long history of stealing cars, so he decided to enlist in the army so he wouldn't face jail time. But Jimi Hendrix didn't want to be in the army, so he was enlisted in a psychiatrist and told them that he was in love with one of his bunkmates, and because of this he was discharged for homosexual tendencies. But he didn't want to tell anyone that he was discharged for this, so he told everyone he was discharged on account of an ankle accident from falling on a plane without a parachute. I conducted my research by going to Google, Wikipedia, and other trusted sites to find old interviews and websites that explain what was special about Jimi Hendrix. I would also usually find a citing source to cite it. EasyBib saves the website you cite for later, so I can be able to remember the website I had and cited it again. But I created my project by finding the websites that I used, and I would either watch the interview or I'd read the article so I could find information and write it down on a document or a piece of paper. I would then look at the requirements, mark a line at the page where I should be able to stop, then I would either stop at that line, or I would go farther if I had to write more. In conclusion, my evidence proves that Jimi Hendrix has done amazing things for the importance of racial inclusivity and stereotypes, making new forms of music using new sounds that people hate or old sounds that people love. I learned that there were other famous musicians who were very fond of Jimi Hendrix's way of playing and making music, that he had many special and remarkable ways of playing to make up for not being able to read music. Many of the sources that I had helped me understand what Jimi Hendrix thinks of while on stage, what quality his guitar was, what it was worth then and what it is worth now. The sources that I used helped me understand that Jimi Hendrix has had a long-lasting impact on many people, whether they were alive in his time or not. It has shown me that while many people praise him and say that he was the best musician of his time, others can say that while he was good, that he has still done some questionable things. Overall, Jimi Hendrix was an amazing person that revolutionized rock.